The idea originally started about 3 years ago. I was in the car with my little cousin and he was throwing a really big tantrum, and I said, Daniel, we're gonna play a game called Debate. I'm gonna say something and you'll have 10 seconds to prove me wrong. And we played Debate for over an hour. His big sister joined in, and I started thinking that if you could find a way to de-emphasize the competitive nature of debate, you could expand it to a much broader base of kids.
And when you're a young kid, you want to put yourself out there. You want to, argue back. You want to voice your opinion, but you don't always get the opportunity. And then by the time, social pressures come in, you're less likely to put yourself out there. So by getting students comfortable with public speaking earlier, and by getting them to think about how to be empathetic and to disagree with someone without being disagreeable, starting that early is something that I think is really cool and something that I love about Debated Forward.
They're really, really supportive. Even if your argument sounds ridiculous, nothing will happen.
In my other school, I didn't even have confidence yet. And now when I do debate, it helps me have confidence.
I know that I've been trained to be a good debater, and I feel better and more confident because I've been trained to debate.
I think this is my favorite after-school activity.
My favorite thing about debate is games, and you can be yourself.
All these games, they're fun, but they're actually teaching us real life lessons.
One time we had to change points of view. That was kind of really helpful to learn about different people and how they see things.
The ability to listen to another point of view and to be able to respond in a way that's rational and not so much based on emotion, and be able to sort of shake hands and say, we can still find some areas of agreement, and that our differences aren't going to break this relationship.
My daughter is 9 years old and she's in 3rd grade. One day she came into the room and she was extremely upset at her sister. And so she was able to outline the entire argument and give her point of view, what her sister said. And she walked out the room, and both her dad and I looked at each other and said, oh my gosh, I do believe Debated Forward is working for her.
Whatever picture they have of debate with intense looking high schoolers who are dressed formally and arguing very quickly, that's true of a lot of high school debate programs, but not of ours. It's very game-based and it's fun and much more collaborative than it is competitive.
I love seeing the students get up there, get really passionate about these really weird debates.
Clocks do not tell time.
Whether or not a hot dog is a sandwich.
You can only eat French toast in France.
Just not a very serious topic, but seeing students get so passionate, give these really well-reasoned arguments is so fun to see.
Forming an opinion, backing it up with evidence, and countering people's arguments. In my view, it's great practice for sort of an intellectual pursuit. And in this context, it's so fun.
This gives them an ability to start thinking about these things in a more sophisticated way and talking about them in a way that is logical and helps you move things constructively rather than just argue.
The program has been really good at giving feedback to the students, and I think the form of positive feedback they've given to the students makes them more motivated to continue, and I've been very pleased with the way in which they've reinforced the kind of positive development that they're seeing in the room by having students of the week or just by writing to parents, and I think that builds self-confidence, and building self-confidence is also a super important part of this process.
Kids love talking and they love proving adults wrong. And if you give them a space to do that where they can actually practice those skills, they get more comfortable doing it. We try to, help kids really own their voice so that when they get to high school, they're not afraid to raise their hand in class and they're not afraid to advocate for themselves. We had a tournament between 2 schools, and one of them is a very high income school and one is a very low income school. And the week before the tournament, the low-income school, the kids there said, we don't want to do this, we can't win, what are you doing? And, of course, we give them our pep talk, and they're like, okay, Leah. But at the tournament, they did as well as we expected them to. They each won at least half of their rounds, and the next week, it was night and day with their confidence. They're like, when is our next tournament? Can we do it again tomorrow? It's really those moments that just kind of make me just take a look and say, this is what we're doing.